Peace, peace, peace. How everybody doing? I hope everybody having a good day. Having a very difficult time trying to record this video, but it's all good. We're gonna run back through it. I received some news about African American Israelites being kicked out of Israel, and to me, that's just more confirmation of the necessity of the need to hone in and speak about the things that I'm talking about on this channel as it pertains to esoteric interpretations of the scriptures, because the scriptures is not what people really think that they are. And if you take the scriptures as a literal document, as a historical document, you're going to find yourself in a roundabout way kind of going against the laws of nature, because everybody want to be the victor in the story. Nobody wants to be the bad guys. Certain groups of people could be considered evil. Some people is considered ungodly and all of this. Some people are God's children and all of this and all of that. And the real meaning is lost because people are not looking at this thing as a wisdom text and profound knowledge from antiquity. So, but, you know, it's a crazy world that we live in, and, you know, it really is what it is. And, you know, this biblical narrative has been shoved down our throats. It's only, like really recently and lately that we are coming out of this biblical narrative, because even if you try to search certain aspects of history, you will still see the biblical narrative being implemented. I'll give you an example. If you look at the city Jericho, they say that the city Jericho is the oldest city in the world. Well, why do they say that? Can you find any concrete information why this is the oldest city in the world? And you will find is that it's the oldest city in the world because they say it's the oldest city in the world. It's just a city. It's a rubble. You see some rubble, and it's not really nothing else there. It's the oldest city in the world because they say it's the oldest city in the world, and it plays into the biblical narrative. So now we're coming out of that. Like you know, if you look up, like, try to trace the origins of a certain group of people, you might find a biblical narrative where they trace that certain group of people back to a biblical character, you know, and, you know, so that's not real history. So it's only recently that we, you know, really start, you know, coming out of this. And what I want to read today is out of the Secret Teachings of All Ages, which is mainly P. Hall. And, you know, just to give you guys an idea on what, you know, on what the sacred scriptures really are. I think the most important thing is to understand the historical data as it pertains to the scripts. And then I think the second most important thing is the esoteric knowledge contained in the scripts. All right. So I'm just going to read this, and I want to give you guys just, you know, a better idea on, you know, how I come to these conclusions, and just to give you a greater understanding. So let's go. And if I come across a word, you know, that I can't pronounce or whatever, please excuse me. I'm not that smart, you know what I mean? I don't know everything. There is words that I can't pronounce and words that I don't know. The philosophic ideas promulgated throughout the Shakespearean plays distinctly demonstrates their author to have been thoroughly familiar with certain doctrines and tenets peculiar to Rosicrucianism. In fact, the profundity of Shakespearean productions stamps the creator as one of the Illuminati of the ages. Most of those seeking a solution for the Bacon-Shakespeare controversy have been intellectuals. Notwithstanding their scholarly attainments, they have overlooked the important part played by transcendentalism and the philosophic achievements of the ages. The mysteries of the super psychics are inexplicable to the materialist, whose training does not equip him to estimate the extent of their ramifications and complexities. Yet, who put a Platonist, a Kabbalist, or a Pythagorean could have written the Tempest, the Macbeth, the Hamlet, or the tragedy of Cymbeline? I don't know. Those are works of Shakespeare. But who but one deeply versed in Paracelsian, hope I said that right, lore, could have conceived a Midsummer's Night Dream? All right, so they're basically he's basically saying that, you know, if you look at the works of Shakespeare, you can see that Shakespeare is a very learned individual, and he called him a luminist. Father of modern science, remodeler of modern law, editor of modern Bible, patriarch of modern democracy, and one of the founders of modern Freemasonry, Sir Francis Bacon was a man of many aims and purposes. He was a Rosicrucian. Some have intimated the Rosicrucian, if not actually the illustrious Father CRC referred to in the Rosicrucian manifestos. He was certainly a high initiate of the Rosicrucian order, and it is his activities in connection with his secret body that are of prime importance of students of symbolism, philosophy, and literature. So now he's talking about Francis Bacon, and he's talking about the order of Rosicrucianism, which I guess popped up out of nowhere with this manifesto from CRC. So he's saying if Francis Bacon is not CRC, he's definitely a high initiate of this Rosicrucian order. Scores of volumes have been written to establish Sir Francis Bacon as the real author of the plays and sonnets, I hope I said that right, properly ascribed to William Shakespeare. An important consideration of these documents cannot but convince the open-minded of the verisimilitude of the Bacon's theory. In fact, those enthusiasts who for years have struggled to identify Sir Francis Bacon as the true Bard of Avon might long since have won their case had they emphasized its most important angle, namely that Sir Francis Bacon, the Rosicrucian initiate, wrote into the Shakespearean plays the secret teaching of the fraternity of the RC and the true rituals of the Freemasonic order of which it may yet be discovered that he was the actual founder. A sentimental world, however, dislikes to give up a traditional hero, either to solve a controversy or to right a wrong. Nevertheless, if it can be proved that by raveling out the riddle there can be discovered information of practical value of mankind, then the best minds of the world will cooperate in the enterprise. The Bacon-Shakespeare controversy, as its most able advocates realize, involves the most profound aspects of science, religion, ethics. All right, we still on. He who solves this mystery may yet find therein the key to the supposedly lost wisdom of antiquity. All right, so here we go. It was a recognition of Bacon's intellectual accomplishments that King James turned over to him translators' manuscripts of what is now known as the King James Bible for the presumable purpose of checking, editing, and revising them. The documents remained in his hands for nearly a year, but no information is to be had concerning what occurred in that time regarding this work. William T. Smedley writes, it will eventually be proved that the whole scheme of authorized version of the Bible was Francis Bacon's. See The Mystery of Francis Bacon. The first edition of the King James Bible contains a cryptic Bacon headpiece that Bacon cryptically concealed in the authorized Bible, which he dared not literally reveal in the text, the secret Rosicrucian key to mystics and Masonic Christianity. I would love to get my hands on the first edition King James Bible. I would love to get my hands on that. So there you have it, family. All I've been trying to let y'all know is that it's more to this thing than what y'all think it is. It's some history Bible, and you think your lineage go back to Solomon, and you think your lineage go back to David. You think your lineage go back to Abraham, and and all of this stuff. And look, this stuff gets deeper than what you really think it is. The esoteric is deeper than the literal. You think it's deep because it had to really happen and they had to really exist. No, that doesn't make it deep. The deep aspect is the esoteric aspects that gets into you unlocking certain aspects inside of yourself. Okay? That's what's deep. And that's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. You dig what I'm saying? So there you have it. You know what I mean? And yes, the King James Bible, Well, I really was trying to get into the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament, because the Old Testament is tricky. Okay, the Old Testament is tricky. To really get a real understanding of the Old Testament, it gets really tricky, because you got to understand that even in actual history, there's biblical narratives wrapped into it, because they're hiding stuff. They're hiding stuff. They're hiding stuff, family. Yes, they are. They're hiding stuff. All right. So I'm gonna leave it here. I don't wanna go into it and get into nowhere else. I'll get into that on another video with sharper insight, more preparedness, and things of that nature. Peace, love, and light. You know what I'm saying? And all of that above. You dig?